This Shit My Dad Taught Me episode is brought to you by an amazing sponsor, Matthew-Stevenson.ca. He's Wealth Strategy. Tax smart, estate smart, legacy smart. Thank you, Matt.
Shit my dad taught me.
Shit my dad taught me.
Chris Carter, Jamie
And
Kozum.
we're live with some VIPs in the house today. Let me introduce Lexi and Brett Johnson.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, we're excited to be here.
I don't know
Thanks for
about
traveling
VIP.
here, man.
Yeah, you guys probably win like possibly distance traveled, but for sure same day distance traveled. So how'd you start your day today to get here?
We had close to 4 a.m. wake up call from Kansas City. Had a connection in DC, and we're here. This is actually my first time in Canada in general, so I'm excited.
Let's go. How first impressions of Canada? What do you think?
Welcome to Burlington.
Yeah, welcome to Burlington, Ontario. A lot of people have that high up on their Canada list.
Well, we're here at beginning of October. I expected it to be cold. I didn't know anything I know about Canada. It's always cold. It's beautiful here.
Well, I didn't. It was suggested that I show up to the airport wearing a big hat, plaid jacket, probably carrying like a beaver and maple syrup, and be like, "Hey!" But I didn't have time to pull it off. Next time.
So far, the very polite Canadian stereotype is held up.
Yeah, we make
everyone's
sure-
been super
Couldn't
nice.
find the maple syrup. Beaver was fine.
Yeah, that's right. We have a tradition on the show where we like to introduce our guests with ChatGPT. So that's our way of kind of being formal but phoning it in at the same time. So maybe I'll start with that and introduce
Ooh, okay.
both of you guys, which, by the way, first husband-wife duo on the show.
Oh, nice.
That's a true story.
I want to be really
Also
interested to
might
see
be
if
when you
it
read
knows
this,
what I am.
might be the first ones that aren't allowed back over the border when you read their ChatGPT.
Yours I had to kind of go deep.
I was gonna say.
We're gonna fill in some blanks. 'Cause
I'm off the grid.
We also have very generic names. Johnson is like the most
Yeah.
popular last name.
Yeah, for sure. And it had like, it was funny too, because you can watch it as it runs, right? And it's like trying to cross-reference things. And it kept going, associated with Lexi J Wellness. It was like, yeah. So it had to work pretty hard, but I'm excited to fill in the blanks with you in real time. So here, let's go with ChatGPT intro. And I think it's going to want to start with, it does say both, but maybe we can just start with, let's just do kind of both all together. So our guests today, Lexi and Brett Johnson, co-partners in life and mission. It wrote that.
That's cute.
It's pretty good, right? Lexi is the founder of Lexi J Wellness, a thriving online fitness and wellness brand built from her basement in 2020. Certified in multiple NASM specialties with a degree in health science, her goal is simple: help women reclaim strength, health, and confidence in just 28 minutes a day.
That holds up so far.
So far,
ChatGPT
so
passes.
good.
So far, so good.
Okay.
Can you help guys get their wives to gain confidence in 28 minutes a day?
28 minutes a day. Brett, by her side, as husband and partner, plays a supportive and active role in their shared vision. Though not as publicly profiled yet, he shows up in every event campaign they've done. He's a champion of the community, and he is behind the scenes. He's an integral part in the business's growth as Lexi's partner, and this dynamic pair's business acumen, community focus, and personal drive has led them to the success they are today.
Wow.
Boom.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Not bad, right?
Pretty flattering.
Did we get the details right? 2020?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go. I want to do two things. I want to tell the story about how you and I met first, okay? So I had a piece of your content sent to me by a friend, and they said it was basically like oh my God, you got to listen to this story because they know I'm a dad. And if you send me a reel and it's a daddy-daughter thing, I'll stop what I'm doing. Like that's my content. So I remember watching it. And I don't want to butcher it. I'm going to let you tell the story. But imagine me sitting there watching it. You're on the exact piece of content. I think you're doing a keynote or something.
Yeah.
Like you're on stage talking about it. And it was a perfect time for me just because of something I'm going through right now. So I want to start there. Tell me the story about your dad. Tell me where all this passion for fitness comes from.
Yeah, I'm excited, especially knowing that you guys have such a dad audience. I think that this pulls at a lot of heartstrings, specifically when I work with so many women. Without fail, when I share that story, I always get out of the woodwork. Some men message me and they're like, man, this hit home. I need to do something. So for backstory, my dad, he's a firefighter. He's been a firefighter for 30 years. That's a very demanding job, physically, emotionally, mentally. It's a tough job. And he had been overweight my whole life. When I was in elementary school, and he was probably like 36, he had his first heart attack. And this dude hung the moon. Like, he's the toughest, strongest guy I know. I looked up to him so much, still do. I walked into that hospital room and I'm scared. I'm in elementary school, and that was the first time I remember realizing that he was breakable and he's hooked up to machines and he's in a hospital gown, and just thinking that, you know, that man that I think is like a superhero is actually pretty breakable. And as much as I would like to say, you know, that really like jolted everyone, we changed our lives. He went a different path, but I was in junior high. He had a second heart attack. Same story. I was in high school and he had a third heart attack. Wow. And when I was a freshman in college, he had a fourth heart attack. And I was becoming an adult at this time and realizing like the consequences of your actions and, you know, just how fragile life is. And I didn't have the tools or the confidence to really have that conversation with him up front, just because I got emotional about it. I still like get a lump in my throat when I tell the story, because it's so scary to see someone that you care so much about be on the verge of life or death. And in my head, I'm like, you know, very few people survive 4 heart attacks. And if the 5th one comes, the other shoe's going to drop and he's not going to make it. So I'm like, I just need to write everything that I'm thinking. I'll leave it on his nightstand and I'll just go back to school. I was home for Thanksgiving break. So I write him this letter, and in it, I'm like, I am in the bedroom right above your bedroom right now. I'm writing this, and I just selfishly, I need you to take care of yourself. I want to see another World Series. I understand how unappealing, you know, taking care of yourself, working out, eating right. It sucks. It's not what everybody wants to do. But I said, walking down the aisle without your dad would suck exponentially worse. And I just said, if not, for nothing else, do it for your selfish daughter. And I left that note. I drove back to school, and he called me. He read the note, and it was a super, super emotional call. My dad is very tough, but he is very, you know, especially when it comes to us, he's very emotional. So eventually it got to the point where we kind of came to a head of why it was never happening. He said, I'm just scared to try. I'm scared to try. And then everyone, your mom, your siblings, and you see that, you know, I didn't do it. I tried and I failed. And we had decided, you know, that if you don't try, then the end is definite. You're going to die, because it feels like suicide by lifestyle, the way that you're living right now, the way that you're sedentary, you're eating poorly. And it's obviously come to a head 4 times now, and I'm just scared. So he gave me that letter back when he lost 100 pounds. He ended up losing about 120. And through that, I got to just see his life flourish. And I got to watch not only the physical transformation, because losing 100 pounds is evident. Like the pictures are so cool to see, but beyond that, he got a promotion at work, and his fire department got a more reliable captain. You know, he was an empty nester for the first time, and him and my mom, just like, they're best friends. They have so much fun together. He's actively playing basketball and riding bikes with my nieces and nephews. So he's an active grandparent. And that was something that was not present before. And when you look at him now, it's just a completely different guy, the way he carries himself. He's so much more confident. And I was watching that. And at the time I was a dental hygienist, and I'm from a teeny tiny town in the middle of Missouri. That's in the United States. And I graduated with 20 kids. I was my hometown has 400 people. So it's itty bitty. And when you come from a really small town, a lot of times you just don't think that making a big difference at scale is possible for you. And I remember thinking that, like, he changed his life, but I got a better dad, and my mom got a better husband, and his friends got a better guy out of that. And in doing so, it just made me believe that if I helped one other person, it was going to ripple from there. And that was kind of the mission in starting my business, and how I got started just lit the fire under me, because it was proof of the domino effect. When you impact one person, it just ripples out.
Whew.
That's crazy.
Let's go. Where do you want to even start with that one, man? Boy, that hits all the mark. You should
all from
come
one
on
of your
the
buddies
podcast.
creeping her Instagram.
Right? Unreal. What's your dad's name?
Greg.
Greg? Shout out Greg.
Yeah.
What an accomplishment. I think that's one of those things too, where, you know, on this show, we talk a lot about men's mental health. We talk a lot about leveling up, right? Being that better dad, being that. So when you say he was probably scared of it, guaranteed he was. Like, we hear that all the time, where guys are like, well, you know, somebody's going to feel some type of way, or, well, I can't do that because this buddy counts on me to go drinking every Friday, or I can't do that because, like, because
I'm the funny fat guy.
Yeah, that's who
I wouldn't
I've
be
been.
funny anymore if I
That's
lost
who
weight.
I've always been, right? So they hold off. But
Imagine me in that moment, though, reading that letter.
Ooh.
Like, that's,
I know you were telling that, and I was looking. You know, I've got girl dad ×2 with my girls, and my girls are fierce like you. Like, they do check me on my stuff. But it's nice to have,
especially your new outfits.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen, but stepping out of that comfort zone is a big theme. So so amazing. So happy for Greg. So happy for everybody else. So how did that start to translate into your fitness journey? Because you were a dental hygienist when you were telling that story.
Yeah, I was a dental hygienist. I've just been active. I was really big into sports. I just enjoyed exercise. And I don't know if that was kind of a subconscious thing of just going a different avenue, but I've always liked fitness, and I was a dental hygienist, and we just worked out on our own at a gym in our town. But when the pandemic hit, it actually shut that gym down. So with most of the world, like things just came to a close and we started working out from home. I was still working as a dental hygienist, and I had about an hour commute. But we got Facebook Marketplace dumbbells, and we were like, well, everybody's in the same thing, but that's the one thing that's kind of like keeping our head above water mentally and just staying in somewhat control of, our habits. So we, made that a constant regardless of, the unknown circumstances of the world. We were going to continue with prioritizing our fitness, and just in having that perspective of my dad. And he would have never walked into a gym because, especially if you're intimidated by, when you walk into a gym and you're overweight and you're a beginner, you assume that everyone in the room knows what they're doing and everyone in the room is going to talk about you. And although that's not the case, that's kind of the mentality. And then you also have women, especially, it's tough to, justify allocating the time, allocating gym membership. What are you going to do with the kids when you're gone? So I'm like, this is a shitty circumstance overall, but we're all in the same one. And it's a way to, people can get their foot in the door with exercise. And if nothing else, have some sort of social interaction with someone outside of the walls that you're kind of confined to. So I was still working at the dental office, and I just started posting 28-minute dumbbell workouts in a Facebook group, and I made it women only. So you press play and I'm doing them right alongside. It's basically a podcast because I just talk the whole time. I'm doing the workout with them. And my goal was to just make them feel like they were doing it with a friend, because so much of the pandemic and the isolation, it just mentally, more than anything, people needed that connection, and they just needed movement, because movement does so much for you physically and mentally. So that's how I started. I had probably like 2,000 to 3,000 followers on Instagram, and I was truthfully terrified of putting myself out there on Instagram, letting anyone know that I thought that I could help them. That felt so cringy. And I was scared that I was going to be like floating around in a high school group chat and be like, this chick is cringy. So I would like post something, delete it 20 minutes later. Like, God forbid anybody see that. And eventually I just got to the point where I had a little bit of that validation where I was helping someone. Someone would message me like, I did that workout, man, I could tell I wasn't as snappy with my kids or something. It just kind of fed into, just the confidence building over time. So I got a little bit more bolder posting, just more conviction, because I had proof that I could help someone. I helped my dad. I helped these other ladies. So that picked up traction, and I did that full time as I was a full-time hygienist for about a year, and I quit my hygiene job the following year. And I've been doing Lexi J Wellness for 5.5 years. So I record 6 dumbbell-only workouts in my basement every single week.
Yeah.
So simple, but like so changing for people.
But that we've had that theme of that imposter syndrome kind of come up a few times, where people are like, well, I think I could, but like, and there's 10,000 buts that you got to overcome to actually do it. But like, those success stories, your dad, the fact that you had a community, and even when you say a couple thousand, like, think about that as a starting point, right? Like there's your proof that somebody's watching.
Yeah. And
1,000 people.
That imposter syndrome just gets overcame by evidence. Like, that's how you build confidence in anything, is just stacking proof. Because when you start something new, you have no evidence in your brain. Like, the memory file has nothing to pull from to say, hey, I survived the last time I was scared. But the more that you do it, the more reps you put in. I'm sure the first podcast you were, a little nervous just because you'd never done it. And then every time you have a new guest and you're nervous, you can reflect back on the last time and you're like, well, that turned out well. That was not nearly as scary as my brain came up with it.
Yeah. And just do it.
Yeah.
And Jamie gets all the credit in the world for that. He was the one where I had this registered about 2 years before we did anything with it. And he was the one that he's like, what are we doing here, man?
Get your shit together.
Go.
What the hell did your dad teach you?
So, ain't that some shit? So then we did that. And that's sometimes how it goes, man. So you got a front row seat to this. So my first question for you, Brett, how'd you guys meet?
We met at Mizzou, so University of Missouri. I know that we're in Canada, so I can't just say that and assume it's known. But yeah, we were a couple years separated by year class, and it just so happened that I was in a frat, and my pledge brother actually went to high school with Lexi, and we were having like a parking garage party, just kind of dudes being dudes, frat lifestyle. It's kind of funny to reflect on that time in my life, but yeah. He actually, my pledge brother, introduced me to Lexi that night at this parking garage party. And I like to think that I was being a responsible guy because I was the frat president. So I was kind of monitoring things to a certain extent. And I was kind of making my exit from things. And she was walking in with him. And we just kind of instantly hit it off there.
What did we bond over?
The Chiefs.
What a great segue.
Yeah.
What a great segue to really talk about the Chiefs.
Yeah.
So we got at least a couple hours to do this one,
Yeah.
you guys. Get ready. So obviously we're all huge KC fans on the show. So there's a couple questions. Well, here, let's do this. And not to pull it away from you, Brett, but I know a cool story that you can tell about our boy, Patrick Mahomes. Tell me a Mahomes story.
So my childhood best friend, and it's so funny just that because we grew up such big Chiefs fans, like my family vacations were going to River Falls, Wisconsin to their training camp. That's where I fell in love with Priest Holmes. He was the running back. And so my childhood best friend went on a mission trip in, I don't even remember where, but somewhere very random. And she met this boy from Texas. They fell in love. They got engaged, and he so happens to be first cousins with Patrick Mahomes. So I got to walk with Patrick at their wedding, and it was so funny because I was working at the dental office when she called me, and she was like, "Hey, I think that out of the bridesmaids, you'd be the one that would play it the most cool." And I'm like, "Yeah, of course." And I hang up, and I'm like, "Dr. Dickens!" Like I'm screaming down the dental office hall.
So Patrick Mahomes walked you down the aisle.
Yes.
Cousin's wedding.
So
Take that, Brittany.
yeah. So when they announced the pairings for the bridal party, he threw me a beer and we shotgunned together, and that was the catch of my life. My palms were so sweaty.
From Patrick Mahomes. Let's go.
Yeah, we were
Shotgun to beer.
yeah, we shotgunned. We were game planning, and I'm like, this isn't a big deal to you, but this is a really big deal to me. Like if I drop this, my family will never let me live it
It's
down.
a bigger deal to her dad.
Yeah.
That's in the crowd here.
Hold on. He was like, but this is Lexi J.
Yeah, your dad's just like posting the picture of you walking down the aisle with no context.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, big day for the family photo. You got to send that pic to Miles. We got to put that in there.
Absolutely.
For a couple reasons. One, let's talk about how chirped I got about starting the season with 2 losses. We're just getting over that now.
No.
This is a good
That's
segue.
not what happened. I said, going into the season as a Dolphins fan, I would be very happy if the Dolphins and the Chiefs had the same outcome after 3 games, and they did. I just wasn't expecting that they were going to be that way.
And then we were talking about sports down there versus sports in Canada, and I was trying to answer the questions the best I could. And the conversation in the car came up as like, give me like CFL versus NFL. And I was like, well, they're different. Like that is 2 different worlds. And I saw you got to go to Arrowhead just recently, but it wasn't for football. Tell me that story.
Yeah, so we rented out Arrowhead Stadium for a 9/11 memorial stair climb. As I mentioned, my dad and brother are both firefighters. So I'm in the fitness world. I grew up in a first responder family. So it was a really cool cross section. And we raised money it's a charity local to Kansas City, but they cover 12 counties. So it's thousands of first responders. And it's called the Surviving Spouse and Family Endowment. So if any first responder, police, fire, or EMS, if they die in the line of duty, then the director of that organization is at their family's house within 48 hours with a check for $40,000 to take care of immediate, just financial needs. They also cover the funeral. They have regular Christmas endowments just to help with kids. It's really, really special. And unfortunately, Kansas City has been hit really hard with line of duty deaths. Just in the past 18 months, they've had 5. So we raised $60,000 at that event. You climbed the equivalent of 110 stories in the lower bowl of Arrowhead Stadium. And we had about 750 people come out, and my dad climbed it. I climbed it with my brother. It's really, really special.
That's incredible.
It's my favorite event we do.
Yeah, and your dad did it in gear.
And
right?
Brett and I also did it in gear.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
That's a workout. Wow.
It is. Yeah. I had posted because we went to 51 different fire stations just to promote it and just, shake hands I know what that means. And I had a dad that was gone every 3rd day. Like they're either gone for 24-hour shifts or 48-hour shifts. It's a huge sacrifice, not for just them, but for their families also. So it's really neat to be able to bring out the civilian community and just tie those together, because if you don't have a direct tie to the first responder community, it's kind of out of sight, out of mind that those are husbands and those are wives that are deeply impacted by it. But I was posting about it, and I had tried on gear at a couple of the stations, and I posted, should I do the climb with gear? And then I got some people chirping me. So of course I had to put my money where my mouth was.
Got to be careful what you put on the internet. I'm running a half marathon this month that I probably shouldn't have opened my mouth about, truth be told, but here we are.
Although kudos to the shape you got to be in to be able to do that.
Oh yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. Well, we were talking too. We should probably give Ryan a plug. I think this is going to come out in the same, but I was telling you about our buddy Ryan, who's also a fireman who's doing 21 half marathons in 21 days, and he's
Wild.
day 6 or 7, I think. As we're
He's on
filming.
9 now.
Is he 9? Yeah. So he's 9 days in, and he's smashed his fundraising goal too. We're so proud of you, Ryan. He did such a good job, and his is all in support of men's mental health. And we were
That's
out
awesome.
at their golf tournament on the benevolent side, on the fireman side, just a couple weeks ago too. So yeah, shout out first responders. We don't do enough for them. And I got so excited when you told me that it's a real check and it's real fast.
Yeah.
That's like for our
48
community
hours, it's
stuff.
huge.
Like we see the delay, the gap between need and solution is it can be weeks, months, years before insurance kicks in or before, any kind of reparations kicks in or anything. Like it can take a long time.
Yeah, and if you lost not just a paycheck, if you're losing the most important person in your life and you're grieving, the last thing you need to think about is how you're going to pay your mortgage or how you're going to take care of
Absolutely.
tuition or anything like that. So just that immediate need and just the gap that the funds available to them don't often come until months or years. So the fact that they have that turnaround time, it's incredible, and they're able to provide and deliver on that based on funds and donations. So that things like that are crucial.
Yeah, for sure.
Our goal next year is 100K.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to make a trip to
Digits.
Kansas City.
There you go.
Wow.
We'd come down, but it's Canadian money. I don't know. You guys even take it?
Do you guys play Monopoly there?
Yeah, that's right. So I want to talk a little bit about you guys as a couple and doing all of these big things that you guys are doing. What does that look like? How do you balance that off? What's the priority? How do you guys huddle? How do you stay on the same team?
You want to go first?
Let me answer that for you, Brett. Yeah, you do.
So
I want to hear what you're going to say.
for my business, I am the CEO, and Brett is his role has evolved so much because he started just as, he supported me through it, like never doubted. It's a scary thing when you say you want to quit a very stable job to do this starter that when COVID's over, are people going to go back to gyms? Are they going to keep doing these little dumbbell workouts from their basement? So he started as that, and then his role has evolved as we've grown. So Brett is now the COO and CFO. So he plays a huge role in Lexi J Wellness, just behind the scenes. He does so much.
Yeah, it's kind of a loaded question. It's a tough balance, honestly. I think that's the honest answer. Balancing being, in a committed relationship plus the business side of things, because a lot of times whenever we get home, we're talking business. We're not talking about how did your day go, the stuff that husband and wife typically talk about. So I won't pretend that it's easy, and it's something that we continually are working on. So we are by no means perfect at what we do, but we're just always looking to continue to get better and better at it. But from the business side of things, things have taken shape a lot over the past 5 years. So I guess whenever it started out, it was almost a set it and forget it thing for me. I kind of got to plant a seed so to speak, just like I helped build the website. And then from there, whenever you start a small business, you don't know what you're getting into. Nobody knows what they're doing whenever they start a business, especially whenever it's something that has, you have no roots in whatsoever. It's an idea that was born, and then you just run with it.
Yeah.
And so, I built out a website, and it was semi-functional, and then things were just kind of on the, I don't know, I deal with some stuff on the back end, or at least I did deal with some stuff on the back end. And then things continue to grow and evolve, just kind of glazing over a lot of fine details. Now my day-to-day, I would say I have 2 full-time jobs at this point between Lexi J Wellness and what my full-time work is. So it's a blessing. I'm extremely thankful for it, and I'm extremely grateful for the road that we've gone down on this whole path. And there's a lot of things that are TBD at this point with where things are going to head, but we have a lot of big goals, big dreams, and honestly, I know that we're going to get there. Wherever we want to take this thing, I know we're going to get there because Lexi's an incredible leader. She's an incredible community builder. There's certain gifts that certain people have that they're hard to teach. There's some people that just have that charisma. And like I can tell that you guys have charisma. It takes a little bit of charisma, to captivate an audience, like on a podcast like you guys have that's doing so well. So kudos to you guys. Also, that's really cool to see. But she's got that it factor, And it's been really cool to see evolve. And I don't think she knew she had it to begin with, which is one of the really cool things to look back upon, because just to circle back to what she said a little bit ago, she was talking about how she used to put stuff up on her story, and then she'd take it down pretty shortly after because she was scared of what people would say, what people would think. And that also took place to a certain extent within our household. I wasn't allowed to be in the same room as her whenever she was getting ready to post something on her story. So she would start recording herself, and she'd do whatever she was doing, just making some sort of piece of content to put on her story. And she'd be like, no, leave the room. Like, you can't be in here while I would like walk outside or something, just like stand on the front porch, just kind of look around for a while, whatever it was, just to make it look like I wasn't some doofus, just kind of like browsing my own house. So just find a side job, I guess. But that's the way it was for a while until she got comfortable with it. And I think that is kind of like a microcosm of what business is, and like the imposter syndrome thing that you're talking about, like not feeling comfortable with something because you haven't put in the reps. And then once you put in more reps over time, you start to gain credibility, not only with your people that you're interacting with, but also with yourself. Yeah. And I think that is something that is overlooked a lot of the time, is like building credibility with yourself. And sure. I mean, that's the definition of confidence, is knowing that you are a credible source and knowing that you are you're worthy of talking about something that you're talking about.
So the tough part for you guys must have been like when you are at home though, like, and the day's done at 6 o'clock, it's like, you want to have that off switch though, where it's like, it's not about work anymore. You don't want to talk about work. You don't want to talk about what you're going to be doing tomorrow for work. Like, that's got to be a tough balance to find that off switch and just like let that stuff go. And it's like, hey, this is just us time now. This isn't about like us trying to work on the business or work on our plan for next week. It's just us time. Yeah. That's also got to be a tough part to teach yourself and like try and talk to each other about too.
It's very tough. And especially we don't have kids yet. So the business is our baby, and that consumes 95% of our thoughts and our conversations. So it is, sometimes we'll be at dinner and we're like, okay, let's try not to talk about Lexi J Wellness. And then we'll sit there for a second. And we're like, okay, but what should we talk about? Like what?
It's okay. Like, hey, I'm going to go with my girlfriends tonight. You go with your buddies tonight. Like, just so we get a little bit of like not work talk going on.
Yeah. It's hard. Yeah. I mean, it's not like shutting off a light switch.
For sure.
You can't just flip it off and, just be like, okay, business time is over. Personal time has begun. Yeah. It's very difficult because it's kind of in our nature at this point. We're very driven people, and you're always thinking about ways to do things better. That's business. Is you're trying to constantly. I mean, it's a never ending thing. As soon as you accomplish one thing, it's to the next. You're like, okay, well, what about this next thing? And it's a little bit self-defeating because you never take a second to really reflect on where you've gotten. So gratitude is one of those things that we have a hard time focusing on, just because we're always thinking about the next thing, and it's hard to turn on that off or
turn
off that switch.
So you're probably pushing each other so that you're both going to be better and the business is going to be better, right? It's hard to turn that off too, right?
For sure.
And then the nature of what I do, because it is fitness, like a lot of people, if you're an entrepreneur and you're a business owner, you can escape and you're like, I'm going to get a workout in, just clear my head. But my workout is my job. So I'm clocking in for that. And my workout or my job is on social media also, just to continue promoting the business. My personal account is one with my business account also. So everything is gray, really. There's no black and white.
Yeah. And the funniest part is I'm going to dote on her a little bit. There's so many people still to this day that think that her workday begins with the workout and ends with the workout. Right. And that's all there is.
I only work 28 minutes a day.
Yeah. She's got the easiest gig in the world. She just records a workout and then voila, wipe her hands clean of the day and go do whatever she wants.
If only, right? If only.
The people, if you don't have any experience having your own business or running a business or even, just being involved in like the actual workings of a business, you just don't necessarily understand it.
And it's unorthodox. It's a very different, it's not traditional whatsoever. So Brett's dad, actually, they work in insurance, which is a very traditional, stable job, but I work from home by myself. So one day over the summer, I had went up to their office and I was like, I'll just work in person with Brett. That way I have someone to talk to. And his dad and him work together. And he was like, what are you doing here? And I said, I was going to work with Brett today. And he was like, where are you going to record the exercises? I was like, well, I have to work on my laptop
Even
too.
my dad.
He was like, you haven't done your 28 minutes yet?
Yeah. What's for those that might be introduced to you for the first time today? What is the ecosystem around Lexi J Wellness right now?
So we're primarily women. We actually do have men. You had mentioned that. We do work with some men, and most of them are husbands that have just joined in after seeing their wives' life change. But primarily moms, 25 to 45 is my main demographic, especially just because the workouts are quick and effective. You can do them from home. So when you're working a full-time job and taking kids to extracurriculars, you can carve out 30 minutes in your living room or in your basement. Wherever you have dumbbells and Wi-Fi, you can put that video on and you don't have to think about the workout. You don't have to worry about doing them correctly or not, because I'm right there doing it with you. I'm talking to you the whole time. I'm giving you cues on, mechanics, and also just telling you what's up. I refer to it as like my digital diary. It's kind of cool because I have 5.5 years of just my own evolution. You can see my confidence change on the screen, but I'm a yapper to my core. So I can talk to myself for 28 minutes as if there is someone on the other side of that screen, and I'll hold a conversation. I'll tell them, an insight I learned in a podcast or a book, or, how that's affected me or something that I'm going through. And I think the biggest thing that has drawn so much and makes people feel so bought in and committed to Lexi J Wellness is the fact that is more of a relationship. We have a connection because I'm like, their kids recognize my voice. They know who I am. I'm on their screen. They talk back to me often. Like, they will message me on Instagram and they're like, man, it felt like you were talking right to me this morning. And just having that connection, especially in the fitness industry, when the fitness industry there's a lot of bullshit there. There's a lot of empty promises and fancy marketing where you can lose X amount of pounds in a very short window, but not a lot of actual promise and follow through on it. So to have someone that you can put trust in and you can have faith that they are the person that they say they are, that goes a long way in the fitness industry. And that's the biggest thing and the most thing what I'm most proud of is just the trust that I've been able to build in our community. And I think that's why people are so bought into me, because I am the same person that's on their screen 30 minutes a day is the one that they'll meet at events or they'll run into in the grocery store. And I pride myself a lot on that, because it would be even more exhausting to put on a facade for 30 minutes and pretend to be someone else. So if I don't want to do the workout, if I'm unmotivated, I'm going to share that, because there's someone on the other screen that they're having a rough mental health day, or they didn't want to get out of bed. They wanted to snooze their alarm, or they're not feeling motivated, but that is the human experience. And when you're looking on Instagram or TikTok and you have these people that have the curated aesthetic morning routine where it looks like they are so excited to work out every single day, and that puts an unrealistic expectation for everyone. You're not feeling like you want to work out and you're like, well, it's something wrong with me, because that person that has the six pack, like, they always want to work out. They're always excited to do it. So when I share that, I think that it hits home, and they respond really well to it, just because it is a human thing. And in a world where everything is curated and polished, it's nice to have just the unedited raw version of when it is a vulnerable experience. Like, someone wants to change their life, they're unhappy with where they are, and to have someone that would be picture perfect on the other side that always is excited to be there is just not realistic, and it's not well received. It's not as relatable. So when I share those things and I'm telling them that, the wellness side of things, I was very, very intentional when I named Lexi J Wellness, because it is so much more than just fitness and just getting the perfect body, because being healthy and taking care of yourself is well beyond just the aesthetics and the physical side of things. So I feel like that's what's really drawn and what's allowed us to, continue to grow over the years.
You must have some pretty cool stories from a few females or a few women that you've worked with that, hit home pretty good probably and keep you motivated to do this.
Absolutely. I actually have a bad day folder. I will keep screenshots or messages or things that they send me, just to kind of, on those days when you don't want to do it, it's just a recollection of the good that you are and what you're doing and why you're doing it. So I had shared this on a podcast recently, and it's not a story that I had shared publicly before, I don't think. But there was a woman that she had sent me a picture of a suicide note that she had actually written. And she was in the worst spot of her life. She had she felt like that was the best option for her at the time. And she went to work the next day, and one of her coworkers was talking about doing Lexi J Wellness, and just organically didn't know what that woman was going through privately, and said that I don't know if I was running a promo at the time or just shared a workout with her. And she was like, well, why not? I'll do it, whatever. And she sent that it was dated, and it was like 10 months later. And she said, I have missed, less than a handful of workouts. This is what my family looks like right now. I got a promotion at work. And she was like, this didn't just change my life. It saved my life.
That's incredible.
Boom. Like,
makes it all worth it.
Absolutely.
The realness, the authenticity piece, right?
Yeah.
Good for you. What's so let's talk about wellness, kind of that holistic circle around what you do. What are some of the other things outside of the workouts that you do to help people make that kind of change?
So I have an excellent staff also. We have, and we're growing, so we'll soon have 10 staff members, but I have a really cool team, and they've actually all come up within Lexi J Wellness. I'm very partial to the people in our community. And when I want to hire and bring in someone on my team, I want them to be well acquainted to our processes and our values and be on the receiving end of, the good that we're doing. That way, when they do work with someone that's brand new, they can have full confidence that, I was in those shoes. I was a postpartum mom. I have lost this much weight, and this is how my life is transformed. So I'm very partial to that. So our entire staff is actually Lexi J Wellness clients that have just grown within and joined the team. So we have a team of nutrition advisors, and they work one-on-one with clients and just working on fueling their body. And through that, they have an excellent relationship with them. They'll send them videos, and it's kind of discounted as nutrition because half of it, I swear, is therapy. We'll have a team meeting, and our advisors are like, man, so-and-so she's going through a divorce, or she's having a really hard time with her boss. And they just have that connection and that, deep rooted relationship, especially when it's hard to make friends as adults. It's hard to have genuine connections as adults. And we have this Facebook group the Facebook group is women only. You can do Lexi J Wellness if you're a man, but you just can't come in our Facebook group. So
we have a Facebook group like that.
Boys only. But there is you had mentioned authenticity. One of our core values is uncompromising authenticity. And in that Facebook group, there's so much shared and just so much vulnerability and relatability, because I have never seen anything like it. The internet can be just a scary, shitty place. It's if you scroll through Instagram comments, it gets negative fast, but we call it the unicorn of the internet in the Facebook group, because there's so much support from perfect strangers. They want to see you win. And I think the coolest thing that has been adopted just throughout that community is that, someone else's success is not going to take away from mine. So you'll see someone else, just cheering on a perfect stranger. And now it's just the domino effect is what we really pride ourselves on. And I'll see the ladies tag each other on Instagram, and they're Venmoing someone that they have never met in real life for a coffee, and just through meeting through the Facebook group. And they meet up now. We do an event about every month, and they have anywhere from like 200 to 750 people that they'll come in from all over. And one of our anniversary event is one of my favorites, and they will get like a giant Airbnb. There'll be several of them, and it's like 20 women from all different states that get in this Airbnb, and they make friends just through a Facebook group. So
that's amazing.
When I first got started, and I still get trolls on the internet, but one of my favorite screenshots, and I always refer to it. So if you see me on Instagram referring to the silly little dumbbell workouts, and this was when I first got started, I didn't have very many followers, but someone had mentioned or responded to one of my stories when I was checking in after a workout. And they said, I don't think these silly little dumbbell workouts are catching on like you think. So I have that screenshot. And at our anniversary event, I made stickers for everyone with that screenshot.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Haters become motivators.
So hubby's the COO and the CFO. Does he get to scroll through this
ladies
only Facebook?
Yeah. How does that?
Not even me.
No,
not even
Well,
me.
what's the okay? So now you got to put on your husband hat for me for a second.
Okay.
How do you deal with the trolls when you see them on your wife's hard work, doing her thing and bringing that noise?
It's not always the easiest to disengage, I guess, because I mean, whenever you put it out there, you can't take it back. So it's just like either you're going to engage or you're not. So every now and then I'll engage if somebody's like, she can handle herself. She's a big girl. I mean, honestly, she's wittier than me.
What's so different when somebody's chirping you versus chirping your wife?
Yeah, I mean, if it was in person, people
Yeah.
are keyboard
Internet's
warriors.
different, man.
Yeah, they are total keyboard warriors. So somebody you'll never meet in your entire life, and somebody that honestly put zero thought into what they said. They just wanted to ruin someone's day. That's all they wanted to do. And digitally, it's different.
Yeah.
Somebody approaches my wife in person like that, I'm probably going to drop them.
Yeah.
So different story, but she's a big girl. Yeah. She's tough. She's strong. So I just kind of let her handle her own battles there. And honestly, she can ruin somebody just like just that.
So quick.
Yeah.
And
so
it's learning how just to scroll by half the time.
Yeah.
Right? Like why even engage most of those people?
Honestly, if you start looking for it, it's just going to get you down anyway.
Yeah.
So you just kind of have to glaze over it because there's trolls everywhere.
Yeah. Every now and then I'll respond like via a reel, another video. And it's so funny because the Lexi J Wellness community is a pack. They have a pack mentality. And there was one guy, because I'm very transparent. I think that's important, especially for your women listeners, that I think you grow up in a society where you think that the body that you're going to be in is going to weigh a certain amount. And especially like early 2000s, that number was like no more than 130 pounds, whatever, no matter your height, no matter your muscle mass. Like if you were over that, then you were probably overweight. So that was kind of the thought process I had growing up. And I was always an athlete, so I had more muscle. And I remember in high school, I weighed 150 pounds and all my other friends weighed a lot less. And I thought that was like, there was something wrong with me. So now I'm like 170 pounds and I'm stacked. Like I'm strong, I'm fit, I'm very happy with my composition. So I'm very transparent about that. And I like posting that because there's a high school girl like me out there that needs to hear that and needs to say, okay, like the body that I want and the muscle that I want and the performance I want to perform at is not necessarily going to match the 3 digits on my bathroom scale that I think are going to validate me. So I post a lot as just being transparent about that. Be like, this is what my body looks like. This is what the scale says. That number is not going to, that's not going to define you. That's not a realistic or a realistic representation of, your worth, which I think a lot of times we get trapped in. So those videos always take off and it's either women feeling like seen or, being glad that they see it, or it's men that don't believe me or are calling me overweight because of that. So there was one man that he had called me fat or something like that in response to this video. So I had responded to it and I pretended like I was reading it, but I was like, or I can't even remember what it was. I was like, he said I was overweight and ugly or something like that. And I was pretending to read it. And I said, "You're so strong, Lexi. I wish I could be as strong as you." And I was like, "Rob, that was so nice. You didn't need to do that." And he was fighting for his life in the comments because all of my ladies were coming at him. It was hilarious. So if I put it out there, then, if you're in my comments, just prepare for him because they'll come and get you.
Yeah.
He came back digitally swinging for like a month too. So it's just kind of like also hilarious to think about how much time this guy invested.
That's what you said on your first response about engage or not, right?
Yeah.
Engage that's a commitment.
Yeah.
Because once it's out there, man. And I think too, you got to go back to that story about that life you saved. Like, if you need any more validation than that, I don't know what to tell you. Like, because often it isn't money. I mean, monetary comes, but man, that's success right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
We got a few that we like to cover off. Do you mind if I just kind of rapid fire a few things at you guys? So this is one of my favorite questions, and I know you work with your dad, and obviously you've got a super close relationship with your dad. So the question is, what's the best advice your dad gave you?
Oh boy.
And we purposely don't let guests think on this or tell them we're going to ask because it's usually the one that comes to the top of mind. So what is the best advice your dad gave you?
I'm trying to think of like a specific phrase, but I think it's more just my dad still works so hard. He showed me work ethic and I'm so grateful for that. Like he and my mom got pregnant in high school. They worked so hard to support 4 kids and to build up their life and just in viewing them as a unit. So I won't just put this to my dad because my mom is such a hard worker and went back to school with kids and now she's an elementary principal and she's such a good leader also. So they're both excellent at what they do individually. But I just think modeling that work ethic and, habits are caught, not taught, and being able to watch them in real time work to provide for their family and with very little to start out and just being the family unit. Like they are huge family people. My family is super close and we have such a good relationship with them. So I think the work ethic and just the prioritization of your family first, that was just the biggest thing that I want to model when we have our family.
Love that.
Awesome.
How about you, Brett?
I don't think there's like a specific phrase that comes to mind. It's kind of like what's almost unsaid to me. My family is a little unique in that we're not always going to her family is very direct. They're going to tell you exactly what they think.
You should have seen our group chat. this morning. My dad had hit a milestone at work, and my mom sent a message, and my brother thumbs up it, and I was like, Cody, that's passive aggressive. I don't like that. And so he changed it, and then he said something like, well, Ashton hasn't liked it, my older sister, and she hearted it, and she said, I just did, dickhead. Like, we're just talking.
Perfect. Do you know that about the thumbs up thing? I had one of our younger team members point that out.
I don't like the thumbs up.
Thumbs up is like, good job. But she's like, no, it's passive aggressive. It's just like a, okay. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, is that what that means?
Thumbs up. I use thumbs up if it's like affirmative. Like
Okay.
I'll be there at 3:30 to pick you up. Thumbs up. But yeah, if it's a milestone, you better heart it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a lesson right there.
The tides have changed.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't just use the thumbs up anymore and assuming it's cool.
You got super direct family and then
Yeah.
not so much.
Yeah.
Fewer emojis used.
A lot less emojis used. Yeah. No group text where people are calling each other dickheads. Yeah. That doesn't happen. But what I was going to say is I think that it's a lot more what's unsaid and more so in just practicing lifestyle and practicing a way of living. And I didn't there's some things you see in hindsight, looking back in your childhood. You as you grow up and you mature, you realize, well, now I understand why things the way they were. Whereas whenever you're a kid, it's just like, you're just doing your day to day, you're just doing life. And fortunately, she and I both had lived in a household where, there was there wasn't a broken household. We both had a very present mother and father figure. My mom lived at home. She was a housewife for all my life. Actually, she retired. Well, I say retired. She always corrects me on that. She stopped teaching whenever she had me. So I had a mom at home the whole time. So she was a constant presence. But my dad was the sole provider, essentially, in the monetary sense. So something that he continues to do this day, and honestly almost to a fault, is he takes so much pride in being the provider and dedicating himself to his craft. And to a certain extent, I'm like the exact same way. And I've also kind of had to start to draw the line a little bit, because I find myself trying to replicate what he's done. And I'm very grateful for the way that I've basically been trained to be, in that, it's just day to day, like you're so ingrained in your craft that you want to be the best there is at it. And you're dedicated to your people, that you're also, that you're taking care of. In the insurance world, it's your clients, and making sure that they feel like they are, the sole priority. So I think that he taught me those things, whether or not it was something that was said, it was the unsaid, just getting to witness him do those things. So I'm grateful that I got to witness him be the way that he was.
That's awesome. You guys both seem like incredible people, so you must have incredible families behind you. That's great.
We do.
Yeah. We have a little segment on this show that is a crowd favorite. It's called Bring Us a Dad Joke. So I'm going to put both of you on the spot. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. This one is one of my Papa Gene. So my Papa Gene actually passed this summer. So this will be a good one if my family listens to this. Have you heard about the one-legged waitress at IHOP? Her name is Eileen.
Yeah, that
There
checks
she
all the
goes.
boxes. Yeah, okay. The stage is all yours, buddy.
It should hit home too, because pancakes, Canada. I mean, I assume you guys have
I
IHOP.
was catering to my audience.
So do we have IHOP?
It's
got
International
IHOP.
House
Yeah.
of Pancakes,
Is there?
not
Yeah.
the United States of Pancakes.
Yeah, okay, so it's international.
It's gotta be.
Obviously we do.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, I'm like, man, every dad joke I tell is essentially a dad joke. So I just don't know it, and that's solidified by the fact that Lexi very rarely laughs at my jokes. So,
But man, does it hit home when I do.
I'm feeling good.
Those are like big wins.
Yeah.
Like, did you smile? Yeah.
Did you hear that laugh?
High highs. So, all right. Are you guys fans of The Office?
Oh, the
I see a
biggest.
Dwight.
Oh, we got
I say
right
there's a
there.
Dwight
Yeah,
bobblehead
yeah.
over there.
There we go.
Yeah.
I actually had that same bobblehead until
Okay.
somebody knocked it off my desk and broke it. Devastating.
Devastating.
But anyway, so I actually looked up a dad joke, Office related, because I thought, okay, what better way to
Perfect.
Bring it all home.
Yeah.
bring it all home with The Office? So, all right, why did Dwight bring a stapler to the farm? Because it was time to beat the competition.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's when you got to know the show.
Yeah.
Fruit Farms, beef farms, baby.
Shout out the office.
We for sure. And then we always just ask, is there anything we didn't cover that you guys want to do? Any shout outs? You can certainly,
Where do people find you?
yeah,
guys?
feel free to plug.
Yeah, so it's LexiJWellness.com. I'm on Instagram on Lexi J Wellness. And like I said, if there's anyone looking to build confidence, looking to, just improve their mental health or get great habits under their belt, change their life physically, then I'm confident that myself and my team can do it. So if you have any questions, you can always reach out to us. There's a contact form on the page as well. But that's truly, I think, what God put me on this earth to do is to help change people's lives.
Yeah, looks like it. Good
Keep
stuff.
doing good things, guys. You guys are awesome.
Thank
and good
you.
luck tomorrow at your competition.
Yeah, and
Thanks,
we got to
yeah.
get you guys out of here. We got to
Thank
get you
you.
back to Toronto.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you guys very much
Thanks
for
for
having
making
us.
Yeah, it's been
problem.
awesome.
Thank
Appreciate you guys.